Hello, thank you for joining me. It's Lorraine. We are in my bedroom and I'm showing you my beautiful dressing table. You know, today's video is going to be all about perfume, but I'm happy to have this opportunity to show you my dressing table because I'm not attached to very many material things, but I have to say I'm pretty attached to this. I just love it. So we're going to move over and I'm going to show you my tray, my February tray of perfumes, because every month I change up my perfumes and then I use them in rotation for that month. So for February, you can see at the back there that we have an Lise Wattier Ivresse, and beside that is my vintage Worth Je Reviens, and beside that, with the silver cap, is another Lise Wattier Neige. And then you can see in the front on the right, a little bottle of Chanel Cocoa. And beside that, my vintage Bluegrass. And then we have Coty Vanilla Musk, my beloved Shalimar Eau de Parfum. And over on the right-hand side, Jill Sander, number 4. And beside that, a small test bottle of YSL Opium. And then, of course, 2 of my fancy little jars, which I think look so pretty on that tray. So that's my February tray. And we're going to move over. I'm going to share with you my perfume cabinet. Because about 5 years ago, I started to really discover the whole huge world of perfumes. And I started to buy a lot of perfumes. Well, I didn't have any place to put them, so alas, I had to buy a perfume cabinet, and there it is. So I'll open the doors for you, and we'll have a little look shelf by shelf. So you can see on the left that I have quite a few Shalimars, and I do have a few Chanels as well. Now, keep in mind that many of these perfumes are sample sizes or travel sizes. There's about 150 perfumes in this cabinet, but I certainly didn't want to buy a full bottle of all those perfumes. All I wanted to do was smell all those perfumes. Now that red box is full of sample sizes. And so we move down here. And on the very bottom, you can see that the glass dish on the right is filled with sample sizes. And then on the left is my little stack of books about perfume, which I have read and enjoyed. Now, I have to tell you that the last time my 3-year-old granddaughter was visiting me, I asked her if she wanted to wear some perfume and would she like to select one. So we came and looked into the cabinet and she pointed at this one, which is Lolita Lempicka. And so she said she liked it because it looked like a strawberry. So she presented her little wrists for some sprays, and that was her SOTD. It was so adorable. Hello, I want to share with you my perfume journey and how I started out having just a few perfumes, just like a normal person. And then about 5 years ago, I started accumulating many perfumes. Yes, small sample sizes, but I discovered the whole world of perfume. I wanted to smell just as many as I possibly could. And what I forgot to tell you was that in that perfume cabinet is only my fall and winter collection. I have a whole stash put away for spring and summer. So come spring, I will go to that stash and I will pick out some lighter, more eau de cologne type fragrances, lighter and fresher for summer. The Guerlain, including Shalimar, and the Chanels always stay in the cabinet, but I do change them up seasonally. I first discovered perfume when I was about 12 years old. And at the time, some of you know I was living in London, England. And I think I first discovered perfumes, rose and violet, like just simple floral perfumes. And I don't know where I got the perfume called Goya Number 5. It must have been a gift because I certainly didn't have money at that time to buy perfume. But Goya number 5, I remember, was just so pretty. Now, it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to find today. Goya did make other fragrances, and I don't think the company exists anymore at all. As I became a teenager, I do think that I received for a Christmas gift my first real perfume, or French perfume, which was Arpège. And I have a vintage of Arpège. And this is a gorgeous fragrance. You know, I'm not one to describe notes the way some YouTubers do. There's YouTubers who describe perfumes. They just do a beautiful job. I don't have that ability or that gift. I just know what I like. So I seem to have collected quite a few vintages that remind me of my youth, and I think that's pretty normal. Anyway, so this is my vintage Arpège. Another of my early fragrances is from Yves Saint Laurent, Rive Gauche. And this is a gorgeous fragrance. You know, I bought the modern or today's formulation about 2 or 3 years ago, and it didn't smell anything like the vintage. This is a vintage one. I think this is from the 50s, and it's very rich, just beautiful, just what I remember it. But these formulations, I mean, they're going to happen over the years, but very seldom do they ever meet the beauty and richness of the original fragrance. Another one that I discovered in the 60s when I was a teenager, and you may remember Prince Machiavelli. Prince Machiavelli had lots of fragrances, and I think the most popular was probably Windsong. But I didn't care for Windsong that much. I liked Golden Autumn, and I was able to snag this one a few years ago. You can see that I just have a precious little left. It's hard to find, but I just love this fragrance. I loved it then, and I love it now. I did find a lot of fragrances through Avon, through the Avon book, and actually a lot of the fragrances from Avon have very good reviews. And they're made with very good ingredients and very knowledgeable perfumers who created the perfumes. This one is Far Away. And another Avon fragrance that I loved, and I do have one, but it's in my stash, is Moonwind. I really enjoyed that one. Of course, Chanel No. 5 has been around forever. I didn't care for it all that much, to be honest, and a few years ago, I bought a formulation that was intended to represent the original Chanel No. 5, and this was called Eau Première, and it was to be a modern, more modern, a lighter version of the original, and I actually quite like this one. I do enjoy this one. The 70s were pretty much characterized by Shalimar. That's where I discovered Shalimar, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. This, of course, is a vintage bottle. I do have some modern Shalimar, and again, you know, it's nice, and I do recognize it as Shalimar, but it doesn't have the richness of the original fragrance. So I have this one, and then my prize acquisition of Shalimar was the Parfum. Oh my goodness. It was expensive, but I found it, and you can see that I've used quite a bit of it. And oh, this is just so beautiful. Because when I was young, I certainly never had the money for the real perfume. So this is very, very much a treasure of mine. So about 5 years ago, you know, YouTube has been a real source of education and information for me. It's unbelievable, all the topics that are covered by people on YouTube, including these perfume reviewers, which I had no clue existed. So when I discovered them, I was just mesmerized, first of all, by how they knew how to describe so many different fragrances, and also the existence of so many different fragrances, including niche houses. Because when I was young, it was mostly designer fragrances, but now there are many niche houses available, and they put out beautiful perfumes. So I've discovered several ones that I didn't have a clue about. Elie Saab is one that is really a beautiful perfume, and this is called Elie Saab Le Parfum. It's the only one I have from that house, and I really would like to get into it. And another house or another perfumer that I don't know if it's a niche or not, but anyway, M. Micallef, Mon Parfum Cristal. This again is a little travel size that I got. And these perfumes are very expensive, but this one is beautiful, very, very, very strong for sure. When I first started collecting perfumes, I said to myself, I'm going to really buy an expensive perfume. I'm going to spend $200 on a perfume, which I had never done in my entire life. So I decided to do that. And so what I bought was Amouage Dia. Now, do you think that you pay a little bit for the packaging? Of course you do. But it is just such a delight to own this. So this is the perfume, and it has a magnetic cap, which I find is so cool. And this beautiful little stone on the top. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous perfume. And this cost about $225 Canadian. So I don't know. There are many perfumes that cost $300, $400, or $500 that people don't hesitate to buy. I just can't bring myself to do that. But I do have a few that are very expensive, and this is one of them, and I love it. Another perfume that I wanted to mention to you is by Must by Cartier. I discovered this in the early 90s. Now, just because I discovered it doesn't mean that it was released then, so I don't know exactly when it was released, but this is where I discovered it. And this perfume, you know, perfumes bring back memories. That's what they do. And this perfume really reminds me of a very passionate affair I had in the early 90s. And that's all I'm going to say. And finally, last summer, speaking of expensive perfumes, of course, I had become aware of the house of Creed. And Creed makes beautiful perfumes. They have so many, and they're quite expensive. But I think I'd had a sample of this Virgin Island water. Oh my gosh, I love this. So I bought this last summer, and again, this was over $200 as well. But you can see I've used quite a bit of it. I just love it for the summertime. So that's just a little bit about my perfume journey. As I say, you know, I have lots of perfumes, but many of them are just samples. I wouldn't spend the money on a full bottle of 200 plus perfumes, but many people do. And I discovered the website Fragrantica, and I'll link it down below. And it's a place where you can look up any perfume. There's thousands of perfumes described there, complete with reviews. It's just a wonderful website. And there's also a wonderful Facebook group called Oh My Soul. O spelled E-A-U. So cool. Anyway, I just love that Facebook group. And again, you know, if you think that 200 plus fragrances is a lot, many, many, many people jump down this rabbit hole, and they have 400, 500, 600, sometimes 1,000 fragrances. So it's just amazing what is to be discovered in this world. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. You can see that perfume just fills me with delight. I just enjoy it so much. I just love the idea of just having a lovely fragrance wafting around me. I just enjoy it so much. It adds a great deal to my life. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.